Lynn Johnson, National Geographic photographer for more than 40 years, who has turned her lens on hidden and at-risk communities all over the world. By being yourself, she says, the more authentic you are, the more authentic you can be with others. Lynn Johnson, fotograf nacionalne geografije, žena koja već 40 i više godina okreće sočiva svojih fotoaparata ka svemu onom skrivenom, dakle onom što se inače ne vidi i prema svim situacijama i dešavanjima koja imaju iole mali rizik. Ona kaže doslovce, time što ste autentični, time što ste jedinstveni i što ste više jedinstveniji, više su jedinstvenije i drugačije stvari koje vi radite, a i vaš odnos prema drugima.
In Kragujevac, it is an absolute delight. First of all, it's a beautiful place, and I've never been here before, to Serbia, or to this town, of course. And I think what I feel the most is this incredible love that starts here in this home, and you can see it, the love within the family, and I think that ripples out to the Fotorama Fest and to all the people who were involved in the festival. Well, he seems like a completely unusual human being. I mean, first of all, his physical presence is very insistent. Yet he's a kind of a teddy bear quality to him. You just want to kind of try to get your arms around him and give him a hug. But the best part for me is watching Marco with his children and with his wife, Mira, and to see the respect and the love. You know, like I said, I think, you know, all festivals start with that seed and that personal relationship. And I think this festival has not betrayed that essential love that you have in this family. Yeah. So, you know, when you mix ego in with all the other issues that we have in this profession, competition, ego, contests and such things, it can get very ugly very fast. But that doesn't feel like that's happening here. It still feels very human, very true, and very real. I love photography. I have abandoned many things and many people for photography, for the practice of photography, for the belief in the power of photography. If I must put the camera down, you know, I will sit and read. This is I very much turn inside, and that is my refuge, to read, to garden, to be in the natural world. But I was just, you know, having lunch at the kitchen table that I spoke of, and I saw Mira's son reach up and touch her cheek, and I was like, ah, where's my camera? I wanted that photograph. Yeah. But the difference is, when I'm in that kind of space and relaxed, I don't absolutely have to lift the camera to my eye. I can simply appreciate the moment. And there is freedom in that, but it's unusual.
Erika Larsen is a storyteller who believes that your photography is one of the most important ways to explore our understanding of time. Erika Larsen, također fotograf nacionalne geografije, kaže da fotografija koju ona radi, dakle, je najbolji, najvažniji, najoriginalniji način da izrazite vaše shvatanje i razumevanje vremena. Da čujemo šta ona ima da kaže o svemu tome.
Well, for me, I felt like we were coming home, and this was like a welcome home celebration of like who we are as storytellers, as people, and as part of a family. I actually didn't feel like okay, we're here to present our photography or we're here to teach. I actually just felt like we were welcomed home and celebrated. And I was like, it's really unique and I didn't expect it. And wow, it's like, yeah, it's really, really deep for me. No, working with Marco, he always has really big ideas, but big ideas like with like rooted in the ground. Right? Like big ideas that are rooted in tradition, rooted in passion, rooted in a love for photography. And he puts himself here so everybody can float up here. Everybody. And I think that's, it's very rare in this industry. I actually think I'm different in every class. I believe the students are asking for the way they want to be taught. And they're asking for it in the questions, the way they come to you with work. I believe each student brings to the class, and that elicits the part of me that they're asking for. So I'm very much trying to be intuitive about what they're asking for. And so I'll meet them where they want to be met. So I don't think I'm one way of a teacher, except for the fact that I'm just trying to listen to where they want me to meet them.
Andrijana Mereuta, manje ili više naše gore liste. Žena koja dolazi iz Moldavije, živi u Americi, o svom stilu, o svom načinu rada kaže da je fascinirana ljudima, kulturama i zaista ozbiljnom brigom odnosno ozbiljnom brigom u vezi sa svima nama koji je okružujemo i koji staju pred njen fotoaparat. Andrijana Mereuta, the power of still image, my fascination for people, cultures, and sincere caring for the human condition shaped my path towards storytelling.
I think every place has people, different people, but my experience is that Serbians or Serbs are very, I know what I've seen, right, and what I've experienced, and that's what I will carry with me. So I cannot say how it is in general, but I felt at home here. So, and I was speaking to my mom this morning, and she was asking me, how is Serbia? You know, I've been to Yugoslavia many years ago with your father. And I said, Mom, it feels just like home. So that was my impression. I studied economics back in the day when I was in Moldova. And then in US, I worked in hospitality for many years. And I think for many people, at some point in life, you start searching for that something deeper. You want to go to a new level as a human being. And I knew that I wanted to do something meaningful with my life. And it just happened that photography felt as a way that I can express myself and what I cared about. And it was a beautiful way of communicating. And so for me, photography is more of an art of communication. And so I started taking a few classes and then meeting interesting people like Eric and Lynn, and just to name a few. And when I started discovering actually what drew me to photography was the people behind those photographs, because they were people with values, people of wisdom, and I wanted to become one of those people. So I think beyond photography, it's more about humanity. I think photography is a way of life, and it just so happens that it costs, it's quite pricey. But you just want to have the best tools that will help you express that which you envision, and the tools help you to some degree. And I think there is still a little bit that no tools can really help you. And I think, I just see equipment or just as tools to help us better say the message that we want to say.
Christina Busson, a documentary photographer and writer based in New York City in America. Her work explores themes of identity and belonging. Najmlađa od njih, dakle Christina Busson, je dokumentarni fotograf koja trenutno živi u New Yorku. Njen rad istražuje teme identiteta, dakle ljudskog identiteta i pripadanja.
Well, I've definitely heard a lot about this festival from Erica, and she's only shared very positive things, and now that I'm here and I've met Marco and I've met everyone, I can only understand. I know I think it's an 11th year.
11th,
yes.
Yes, that's right.
And that to me just shows how dedicated and committed people are, not only to the craft of photography, but to bring in different, backgrounds, and yes, and also being here with the students and meeting the students that they've worked with, and going to Belgrade and seeing a city in different light. And I think it's been everything I've imagined and more. So I think it has a lot to do with just the way that I grew up, and my mother being from El Salvador, my father being from Haiti, and me growing up in France. And it is definitely, I think, something that's inspired my work and my photography to just be very curious and just genuinely interested in seeing different worlds and expanding my own inner life, mostly through being around people and community, and just learning through traditions. But I think finding a home and being, even though it can be within yourself, but I think also finding a physical place that you can nurture and make your own is actually, for me as an artist, also very important. So I'm working in that direction. So maybe next year I will have a clear answer. So many people have influenced me, and obviously continue to influence me. And it's not always related to photography, actually. I think I'm very drawn to other forms of art, painting especially, and just growing up, I think, in France, also just being in the streets. And it's a very broad way of seeing art, but I know that walking in cities, I always find beauty in the light and the way that light hits different buildings and the architecture. And growing up, my mom is an architect and my dad's an engineer, so we've always grown up in that environment. But in terms of photography, Graciela Iturbide from Mexico has definitely been a big, just influence in my way of seeing photography, not just as a tool, as I mostly have studied in journalism, but also as, in a way, a spiritual experience, and being able to connect to the broader theme of life and the broader meaning of life through most of all like black and white imagery, which I don't do much, but I think it just takes me straight into the soul of whatever she was experiencing in that moment. And obviously Erica Larson and Lynn Johnson have continued to inspire me in that way. Bon, je vous remercie beaucoup de m'avoir invité. Ça a été une expérience très inoubliable pour moi. Donc, je suis très remerciante de votre générosité et de pouvoir parler français avec vous et toutes les langues que vous connaissez aussi. Donc, je ne suis pas seule, c'est bien. Muchas gracias por la invitación. Ha sido un placer estar acá. Sí, de verdad, espero poder volver pronto. Thank you very much. It's been a wonderful experience, and I can't wait to continue exploring the beauty of photography with you all.
Sanja Knežević, a photojournalist based in her hometown Belgrade. In her work, she strives for socially engaged topics that concern freedom, justice, ecology, cultural phenomena, but also challenges of marginalized populations. Sanja Knežević, dakle fotograf, naše gore list, čiji je rodni grad Beograd, u svom radu teži ka temama koje su socijalno, dakle društveno angažovane, koje se tiču, dakle, slobode, pravde, ekologije, kulturnih fenomena i, naravno, sve ono što pripada marginama društva. Pogledajte šta Sanja kaže o sebi i o onome što radi.
Znači, nije uopšte bio strah. Samo sam znala jednostavno kad treba da se povučem. Nekako razumno sam gledala kada je nešto zaista opasno. Znam da ne mogu više tu da budem, pa se onda povučem malo na sigurnu distancu. Tako da su u jednom momentu fotografi bili iza one ograde i u momentima kada su se demonstranti onako suviše zaigrali sa policijom, zaboravljajući na nas, pošto su nam rekli, ako budete slikali, prebit ćemo i vas, polomit ćemo vas i vas i opremu, tako da sam ja u momentima kada su oni zaboravili na nas, ja sam preskakala tu ogradu i prilazila njima i fotografisala. Onda su vidjeli drugi fotografi, pa su i oni to počeli da rade. Ali fotografija koja je obeležila te proteste i prethodnu godinu, koja je dobila nagradu na Press Foto Srbija, To je fotografija koja je nastala 4. dana protesta. U pitanju je fotografija koja se zove Klopci i isto sam naravno, tog dana su isto bili veoma divlji protesti. Tog dana sam, bukvalno te večeri sam ušla u divlje proteste, kako me muž dovezao kolima i napravio krug, onako samo sa decom, ostavio me. Ja sam uletela u te divlje proteste i bila sam onako i ljuta što me te večeri malo kasnije dovezao, ali sam brzo zaboravila na svoje probleme jer su bili ljuti demonstranti. Tako da sam u jednom momentu policijski kordon je rasterao demonstrante i ja sam stajala u Mirnoj ulici, onako ispred Narodne skupštine, noseći i dalje gas masku i šlem. I razmišljala sam kako su protesti za taj dan gotovi. Nema više, to je to, rasterani su. Međutim, ubrzo se začuo krik iz Pionirskog parka gde je neko vikao u pomoć. Volim dinamičan događaj, na primjer kao što su ovi protesti bili. Mene je to potpuno onako osvežilo, naročito posle, pošto imam 2 male dece i te rutine koje mi je već dugo traje.
Da, što kaže kad uđe čovjek u mašinu.
Da, i onda, na primjer, ja volim te nepredvidive događaje, malo i rizične, volim takve, volim da fotografišem život, različite kulture. Kao što je pisao, bitno da čita
tuđe romane, tako
je
pesme.
nama bitno da gledamo i tuđe fotografije. Na primjer, samo da pogledate malo Magnumov sajt, Magnumove fotografe, mislim to koliko se tu onda rodi ideja, inspiracija u pristupu, potpuno se pristup promeni. Tako da veliki rad i želja upoznavanje drugih fotografa, kao na primjer što ste sad upoznati ove fotografinje, pa će vidjeti kako i one rade. To što je mana u nekim situacijama je dobro. Na primjer, znam da eksplozivno odreagujem u nekim situacijama, i jako brzo se palim u smislu...
Dobro ste rekli, da se tako kaže.
Da, u smislu da brzo reagujem. Znači, kad nešto odlučim da radim, ja sam startna veoma. Odmah krećem da to rešavam, što je nekada stresno za moju okolinu.
Good morning, good evening, goodbye. Here we are. Welcome, farewell, hello, where are you? This was another one TJUBOVANJE. TJUBOVANJE which was for the first time made in English. Dobro jutro, dobro večer, laku noć, hvala na pažnji, nema kome ima na čemu. Gledali ste zaista posebno izdanje TJUBOVANJA. Čisto da vam malo zagolicamo, dakle, i maštu i pažnju, mi smo propustili pomalo od svega onoga što su one imali da ispričaju i o svom životu i o svom radu. Uostalom, mogli ste da otkrijete da su zaista prijatne, zaista obične i pokazalo se još jednom to pravilo da što je čovjek veći, on je jednostavniji i za razgovor, i za druženje, a i za pružanje neizmerne količine ljubavi prema životu i prema drugim ljudima koji su oko nas. Vidimo se u narednom izdanju TJUBOVANJA. Uživajte dok ne naiđe jedno novo.